Alright, today I'm going to be making the viral lasagna soup. These are all my ingredients. Just going to go over them real fast. We got the sweet Italian sausage, 1 pound, a pound of ground beef. We got, of course, I'm going to use about 6 lasagna noodles. I'm going to break those into pieces. I'm going to season the meat with some black pepper, some onion powder, some garlic powder, some Lawry seasoned salt, Italian seasoning, some crushed red peppers. I'm going to be mixing some ricotta cheese with some Bouirsin. I'm going to mix that with some mozzarella and also a little bit of Parmesan. We're also going to need an onion, some garlic. I know I'm going to use fresh garlic, but I want to get rid of this jar before it goes bad. Some tomato paste, some crushed tomatoes, and some tomato sauce also, and some basil and some chopped parsley, both for the recipe and for garnish. I think that's everything. Did I miss anything? All right, let's get started. All right, the first thing I want to make is my ricotta cheese blend. So I'm going to take about 8 ounces of ricotta cheese. I'm going to put that in a bowl. And then I'm going to take about half a container of Bouirsin cheese. The garlic and herb is what I use. I'm going to use about half that container. Okay. With that, I'm going to sprinkle in just a handful of some mozzarella, then just a little bit of grated Parmesan. I'm going to give this a blend to combine, and then I may go behind and just kind of season this up a little bit. Alright, so let me grab some seasonings. Go on with a little bit of garlic. A little bit of onion powder, a little bit of basil, and a little bit of black pepper. Mix. Trust me, this tastes a lot better than just the ricotta by itself, and it really just takes the whole thing up a notch. That's how it looks. I'm going to take this and I'm going to put it in the refrigerator until the rest of the soup is done. Alright, so off camera, I went ahead and chopped up probably about a quarter of that onion. I got my garlic ready, and I went ahead and chopped up my parsley, so you wouldn't have to watch me do that. Alright, I got a hot pan with just a little bit of avocado oil in the bottom. So now I want to go down with 2 pounds of meat. I'm going to use a pound of ground beef and a pound of Italian sausage. You can use 2 pounds of ground beef for this, or ground turkey, or whatever you want. Whatever you use, you're going to need to adjust the season this a little bit. So I'm going to let this get a good little sear on it, and I'm going to start to break it up. All right, so we got quite a bit of liquid left in here, of fat. So what I'm gonna do is I'm just gonna take a ladle and drain a lot of this grease off. I might leave just a little bit, but I want to drain the majority of this fat off of there before I season it, so I don't lose any flavor with my seasoning. So let me drain this and I'll be right back. All right, now that we got our meat all drained, let's go ahead and season it up. Actually, before we do that, let's go ahead and add our onions and let them cook down for a few minutes. I almost forgot those. So I'm gonna let these sweat out a bit, probably about 2 to 3 minutes. I'm gonna come back and add my garlic. Okay, it's been a couple of minutes. I'm gonna come back in with about half a tablespoon of garlic. Do this to your preference. It's a Italian meal, lasagna, so I'm gonna go a little bit heavy on the garlic with this particular one. I'm gonna keep it stirring because you know garlic has a tendency to burn. That's why I want those onions to sweat down a little bit, and it's also why we left just a little bit of fat in here, so that garlic would have contact with the surface and burn. So I'm gonna just let this cook a minute. All right, now that garlic is cooked down and got fragrant, let's go ahead and season the meat. I'm gonna come back with a little bit of garlic powder. I'm gonna add as much or a little to your preference, probably about a tablespoon and a half or a teaspoon and a half. This is onion powder. I'm gonna go in with some Italian seasoning. Go a little heavy with that, no salt base. I'm gonna go with a dash of Lowry seasoned salt, or whatever seasoned salt you have. I'm gonna go light to start off with. You can always add more, but you can't take away, so don't go too heavy on that. I'm gonna go with some black pepper. All right, I'm gonna give this all a good stir. Smells wonderful already. Okay, next, and this is optional, I'm going to add a little bit, but you don't have to. I'm going to add just a sprinkle of red pepper flakes, just for a little bit of heat. Again, that's just optional. Now I'm going to go in with some basil paste. Feel free to use fresh basil for this. I'm going with about, I think that much ought to be good. And I'm going to go in with some tomato paste, probably about a good heaping tablespoon. I'm going to stir that right into the meat. Stirring it into the meat and not to the sauce really takes that ground meat to a different level and really permeates that flavor. Right, let that cook in there for about 2 minutes. I'll be back. All right, next I'm gonna go in with some bone broth. You can use beef broth. I like the bone broth because one, it's better for you, less sodium. So I'm gonna go in roughly about 4 cups. I eyeball it till it's just about where it covers, so it just covers the meat. But for the recipe, let's just say start with 4 cups. All right. Now that the tomato base is in there, I'm gonna bring this to a simmer, just under a boil, and I'm gonna let that go about 10 minutes. All right, it's been about 10 minutes. Got us a good little simmer. Yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and add my crushed tomatoes. This is a 15-ounce can. This is really I'm gonna add my tomato sauce. I'm using the basil and garlic, because those are the ingredients in here. And this is a 24-ounce can. I'm gonna go ahead and add that to the pot. Gonna give this a stir. And I know that I didn't have this on the ingredients list, but I also want to add just a pinch of sugar, just to balance everything out with all that acidity from the tomatoes and everything. It's not enough to make it sweet. It's enough to balance it out. And while I'm here, I'm going to add a pinch of complete seasoning. And I'm going to add just a pinch of that fresh parsley that we chopped up. And I'm going to save a little bit for garnish. So I'm going to give this a stir and let this come back up to a simmer. All right, it's been about 10 minutes. Now that our flavors have had an opportunity to marry together, this is a perfect time to do a taste to see if you want to add any more seasoning to it right now. Oh, that's good. But I'm going to add a little bit more black pepper, a little bit more garlic powder, a little bit more onion powder, just to wake it up a little bit. A little bit more, just a pinch more seasoned salt, just a pinch. That ought to be perfect. Again, I like mine with a little bit of spice. I'm just gonna add just a couple shakes more of some red pepper flakes. That's just me though. Give that a stir. All right, now that we've re-seasoned and we got everything, our flavors to where we like it, now it's time to come in with our lasagna noodles. So I'm gonna take, I got about 7, you can go 6 or 8, depending on how much you like, of these pasta noodles or lasagna noodles. Now I'm gonna just break them into pieces about like that. Now you can break these into like larger pieces or smaller pieces. I like being able to put these on a spoon with my servings, so I tend to break them a little bit smaller, but it's your preference. After you've made this a couple times, you'll see, you'll kind of get the feel of how you like it. Again, it's all about personal preference. And you can add as many or as few of these as you like. After making this a few times, I come to think that right around 6 or 7 is about perfect for where I like mine to be. And it takes about, I'd say about 10, no more than 15 minutes for these to be good and tender, good and done. So I'm going to reduce the heat to medium. Gonna cover these slightly, and we'll be back in a minute to plate up. Alright guys, here we are. A moment of truth. I'll go ahead and plate this up. Again, it smells wonderful. I'm gonna top it off with a little bit of that ricotta cheese mixture. With that Bouirsin in it. I'm gonna hit it with a little bit of that fresh parsley for a pop of color. I am ready to enjoy. Guys, hope you like this video. Please like and subscribe to my channel, and I will see you in the next video. Take care.